Hello there guys, and in this Linux video or tutorial we are going to talk about Linux directory hierarchy. So to remind ourselves of what a hierarchy is, as I talked about in the last video, it is basically a hierarchical relationship among directories because we can have directories among directories. Okay, so the first directory, the one you see here with this just /, is called the root directory. Okay, so this is the directory with which it all begins. Okay, so this is literally the first directory in your Linux operating system. Okay, and we are going to talk about file systems and so on and so forth much later on. But basically, just this intuitive notion of directory hierarchy is really important for you to understand now. So basically, if we have a root directory, I mispronounced it. So if we have the root directory, and if we have then later on a folder which is called mnt, then basically we have a hierarchy which goes /, that's the root directory, and then we have mnt, and this is basically the path which tells us, okay, if you are starting from the root directory, go to the mount directory, and then go within the mount directory, and then we could have another directory, etc. Okay, so this is basically what this path, and again, path is sort of a hierarchical relationship between the directories. This path is telling what I just explained. Okay, I mean, it means in a simplified terms what I just explained. And today we are just going to talk about the directories which are really important for the Linux operating system. So let's start with bin. Okay, bin is right here. So bin contains programs, that is executables you run in the shell. Then we have boot. Boot contains files for booting your system. Dev, which is located right of boot in this image. Let me just kind of move the image. We have dev right here. Dev contains device files, and we are going to talk about device files later on, but basically device files are your devices represented as files. Then you have etc, which contains configuration files for your system. Then you have the home directory, and the home directory contains personal directories of all of the users. So for example, if my user's name is Mislav, I will have a directory which name is Mislav, whose name is Mislav, in the directory in the home directory. Okay. Then we have the lib directory. The lib directory contains files needed to successfully run some programs, and those files are also known as libraries. We are going to talk about them later on as well. Lost plus found contains damaged files that were recovered by a disk recovery tool, and this shouldn't really concern you that much at all unless you really mess something up. So basically it is the folder where you look for if you mess something up. Media contains files that enable access to disks. MNT, or short for mount, contains files that enable access to disks. OPT contains packages you might have paid extra money for in the early days of the Linux system. PROC, PROC, and I really have to stop spelling in these terms. Probably I'm annoying you as well as myself. But anyway, PROC contains operating system statistics. Run contains cross-distribution location. Run is a cross-distribution location for the storage of files that do not require preserving across reboots. And basically, this is very complicated to read. I would describe run as files that disappear after every reboot, and reboot is basically a system restart. So basically everything that is in run, if you shut down your computer, it won't be there when you start your computer again. Sbin is a place for system executables, so it's here. SRV's main purpose is so that users may find the location of the data files for a particular service. Okay, so I basically just, when I was writing the content for this video, I just took a quote I found on the internet, but basically this contains service-related files. Sys provides device and system interface, similar to dev, but basically dev is device files and this is interface to devices and to the system. TMP contains temporary files. TMP is shorthand for temp. USR contains user files, or sorry, not user files. Home contains user files. USR contains system files. So home contains user files. USR contains system files. And var, which is here, contains program runtime information. Okay, and there has been a really lot of information here. Feel free to watch this video a couple of times if you really need additional explanation, or even a better suggestion I would have is you just have an overview and you just listen to an overview of the Linux directory hierarchy. If you ever need some specifics, you can always Google them. Okay, but at least once you heard approximately what each folder is for, and so if you ever need to look at that ever again, you can look at it on Google because you have the general context about what each folder is. Okay, so that was it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Talk soon.